So today we're gonna go ahead with this dating / relationship / whatever book, and today we're gonna finish up with it. And I don't know, there's gonna be something else afterwards just because I'm gonna be way too fast, I guess. So there's actually not that much left as I see, so I could have actually kind of finished it up the last time, but yeah. Anyway, reader's note, this is really interesting. In order for us to exist, there needs to be a third outside of us to create the dynamic. In order to have a team, you need an opponent. Many of our inquiries hover at the border between intimacy and intrusion. We want to know, but we don't want to be too obvious. We say that we ask because we care, but often it is because we are afraid. So we set up rules and hope our partner will comply. And in this way, we preemptively secure faithfulness by keeping a tight leash. Desire is insubordinate. Actions are skeptical to reason and so are easier to control. When we validate one another's freedom within the relationship, we are less inclined to search for it elsewhere. Yes, big, amazingly important point that I have also seen in my relationship indeed. I don't know, like, give yourself freedom, give the other person freedom. Yes, the other person has a life themselves. Yes, the other person also wants something to do with their friends. They need their friends and whatnot. Like, there's so many different things where freedom really plays a key role, I would say. And I think so it definitely would be something that I would tell everybody that is going into a new relationship for the first time and maybe or whatnot. I would just really tell them, just take care of your own freedom and be fine with the other person's freedom. If the other person just wants to do this and that instead of whatnot, then yeah, it is fine. I don't know. Like, it is a difficult thing though. It really is. Because of course there might be some jealousy and there might be some problems because of this generating of freedom if it is only one-sided. But yeah. Desire is insubordinate. Actions are susceptible to reason and so are easy to control. When we validate one another's freedom within the relationship, we're less inclined to search for it elsewhere. In this sense, inviting the third goes some way towards containing its volatility, not to mention its appeal. When we can tell the truth safely, we are less inclined to keep secrets. Yes, if you know that the other person is gonna really be mad, I don't know, like, it just makes sense that you're not gonna say anything, even though it is bad and even though it is just really not something that we or anybody should be doing. Recognizing the third has a tendency to add spice because it reminds us that we do not own our partners. And yes, once we don't have them, it's gonna be a fucking bullshit situation. It's gonna be not easy. It's gonna be fucking hard. We should not take them for granted. Definitely not. And please don't do this with anything in your life. With food, with your health, all relationships, not only love relationships, but also the relationship with your friends and with your family. And all of these things, just don't take anything for granted. It's one of the just biggest mistakes, at least at my point of view, we as human beings can make. And not just think, okay, this is just something that is supposed to be there that way and stuff like that. But no, it is not. It could also be completely the opposite. It could be just something completely different. So, no, you don't have to be in this position. You don't have to have this. You don't have to be this person and all of these things. In uncertainty lies the seed of wanting. In addition, when we establish psychological distance, we too can peek at our partner with the admiring eyes of a stranger, noticing what habit has prevented us from seeing. Finally, renouncing others reaffirms our choice. We admit our roving desires yet push them back. Acknowledging the third has to do with validating the erotic separateness of our partner. It follows that our partner's sexuality does not belong to us. The more we choke each other's freedom, the harder it is for desire to breed in a committed relationship. Yeah, quite. The hormonal cocktail of romance, dopamine, norepinephrine or something, and PEA is known to last no more than a few years at best. oxytocin, the cuddling hormone, outlasts them all. The fruits of this ripening love, companionship, deep respect, mutuality, and care are considered by many to be a fair trade for erotic heart, or heat. If attraction and desire were the central actors in your courtship, now they retreat backstage to make way for the main act. I just had to think about something. I'm very sorry. Yeah, I think so. Maybe I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Domestic eroticism is wrapped in a veil of appropriateness. Any experience of love holds a dimension of dependency. In fact, dependence is an essential ingredient of connection, but it is a producer of terrific anxiety because it implies that the one we love wields power over us. This is the power to love us, but also abandon us. Fear of judgment, rejection, and loss is embedded in romantic love. Sexual rejection at the hands of the one we love is particularly hurtful. Yes, it is. We are therefore less inclined to be erotically adventurous with the person we depend on for so much and whose opinion is paramount. It is no surprise that some of us can freely engage in the perils and adventures of sex only when the emotional stakes are lower. We are less afraid to lose love. It's not that romance necessarily fades over time, but it does become riskier. When our desires are not fulfilled, we are disappointed. But fulfilled desires carries its own brands of loss. Getting what we want undermines the thrill of wanting it, the deliciousness of yearning, the elaborate strategies of pursuit, and the charged fantasies. It's remarkable how a sudden threat to the status quo, an affair, an infatuation, a prolonged absence, or even a really good fight can suddenly ignite desire. There's nothing like the fear of loss to make those old shoes look new again. Spontaneity is a myth. You have to own your desire and passion. Committed sex is intentional sex. Planning creates anticipation, and anticipation implies we are looking forward to something. It is an important ingredient in desire. Planning for sex helps to generate desire. Even though I'm not so sure about that. I'm not sure about planning that. But I get it. When I'm planning for tomorrow my bike tour, tomorrow my cheat day actually, which I'm having very prominent in my head, as I don't know, sad or whatnot as it might sound, but I really am looking forward to it every single fucking time. And every single fucking time I'm eating way too much and really feel like throwing up. It's not nice, it's not amazing, but it is what it is. So yeah, maybe it's the same thing, I don't know. But I really have a feeling that I have to talk to this person once again, and I don't know, ask what the problem was actually and what really wasn't working, and maybe also what she thinks about all of these things, because I feel really good about these things. I really feel good, and I also see like all the mistakes that I made or that we made maybe, and I really feel like that I actually feel like that this is a good book. Like in the past few episodes, or in the past 2 episodes that I've been recording featuring this book, I didn't get much out of it. I don't know what it was because of me not being able to really think. Maybe it was due to something else, or just, outside of my condition and whatnot. But I now feel like today that it is a really good book, and it really is a good book also for making good change, I would say. Longing, waiting, and yearning are fundamental elements of desire that can be generated with forethought even in long-term relationships. Animals have sex. Eroticism is exclusively human. It is sexuality transformed by the imagination. In fact, you don't even need the act of sex to have a full erotic experience. Eroticism is the cultivation of excitement, a purposeful quest for pleasure. Eroticism intertwined with imagination is another form of play. Play is an alternative reality midway between the actual and the fictitious, a safe space where we experiment, reinvent ourselves, and take chances. Play by definition is carefree and unself-conscious. For the couples who seem to have figured it out, playfulness is central to their relationship, and eroticism extends beyond the sexual act. Eroticism is the home requires active engagement and willful intent. It is an ongoing resistance to the message that marriage is serious, more work than play, and that passion is for teenagers and the immature. Closing thoughts. This is one of those rare books where I had to pause between sections and just reflect and digest the different ideas that came up. I felt like I was taking notes at so many different sections in the book. Needless to say, this book was extremely insightful to me. I think this book is applicable to anyone in a romantic relationship or planning to be in one. This is especially applicable to anyone who wants to be in a long-term relationship. We all know that marriage is tough, but we hardly hear advice on how to keep passion and desire high. We mostly hear about intimacy and the depth of a long committed relationship, which is totally the case. I really appreciate the author's countercultural insights on how to keep desire and eroticism alive based on her extensive experience working with many couples of varying backgrounds and dynamics. I found myself constantly evaluating my own relationships, past and present, through the new lens presented in the book. This book talks a lot about sex and sexuality, and while I do agree with the author that it shouldn't be something to hide, as it is one of the most natural things for us humans, it is a touchy subject for many who want to keep matters private due to upbringing, culture, and society. Again, highly recommend this book for anyone currently planning to be in a long committed relationship and doesn't want it to end in divorce. Nutshell: why eroticism fades in relationship, while intimacy grows over time, and how to be proactive in keeping the passion alive. And the book was rated 5 out of 5. And I don't know, should I end the episode there, or should I maybe look at the author very quickly? I'm gonna do this, yeah. By Esther Perel, which is probably really wrongly pronounced, but I don't care. I just don't. Therapist, author, and speaker. She's actually very beautiful. My God, actually very beautiful. Fuck, man. She was born in Belgium. Wow, Fields Psychotherapy. Is a Belgian psychotherapist of Polish-Jewish descent who has explored the tension between the need for security, love, belonging, and closeness, and the need for freedom, erotic desire, adventure, and distance in human relationships. I do wonder though whether whether her relationships are good or not. Because the thing is, just being able to fix other people's lives is way easier than fixing your own life. Often, really often, because we are really bad at helping ourselves, but we are really good at helping other people. So, yeah. In 2016, Perel was added to Oprah Winfrey's Super Souls 100 list of visionaries and influential leaders. That's amazing podcast. She's also having a podcast. It's amazing. Perel is Jewish, the daughter of 2 Polish-born Holocaust survivors, which is insane. She was raised in Antwerp, Belgium, and attended the Hebrew University of Jerusalem in Israel. She grew up amongst Holocaust survivors in Antwerp and noted 2 groups around her, those who didn't die and those who came back to live or to life. She observed that those who didn't die were people who lived tethered to the ground, afraid and untrusting. The world was dangerous and pleasure was not an option. Read or listen to Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, an amazing book. He's also a Holocaust survivor. Amazing shit what he's talking about in this book. Like, it is insane what they had to do and what they have experienced and whatnot. Perel is the host of 2 podcasts, Where Should We Begin and How Is Work? Where Should We Begin brings the listener inside Perel's therapist office as she sees anonymous couples in search of insight on everything from infidelity to sexlessness to grief. The unique format combines live recordings of the therapy session with Perel's reflection on what she heard and what techniques she tried. The New York Times writes, it feels more like an unraveling mystery story than a relationship advice show. The couples include both heterosexual and same-sex couples. The first episode aired on Audible in May 2017. I do wonder, though, whether you can also find it somewhere else, and became publicly available on iTunes, in 2017 in October. How Is Work is Perel's second podcast. It follows a format similar to the couples therapy session in Where Should We Begin, but this time the couples seeking Perel's advice are co-founders or colleagues navigating the challenges that play out in work relationships. HuffPost describes each episode as a one-time therapy session between Perel and various co-founders, members of family, businesses, and partners with a thriving operation. But the deteriorating relations on the job. Very interesting. But anyway, I'm going to end the episode there. So maybe you actually check out these podcasts as well if you do want to know more on relationship and stuff. Yeah, I'm going to end the episode there. So I wish you the best health, happiness, and all success. And also hope that you're going to remind yourself and you're going to be remembered, which basically means yourself. Or no, which basically means not yourself, which basically means just being a nice person and then also being remembered as a nice person, which is a pretty fucking cool thing. 3 other questions that I have for you are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions. So hopefully I'm going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea, which is as well a pretty cool thing. One last thing that I always want to talk about is what could you essentially say or communicate, but just say to another person that is indeed going to change their life. Because I believe from the bottom of my heart that we all can say something, that we all can communicate something to another person that is really indeed going to change their life, or at least let them feel very, 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 very good for a second, a minute, an hour, a day, a week, a month, a year, just because you said something, one thing. And it is insane. It is insane that we are able to do so. So please think about that and please keep that in mind. And yeah, I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So bye-bye. Please take care of yourself, your family members, and your loved ones. Bye-bye.